Hey there, I'm Joshua Swanson with Go to My Apartment, back again for another blog on social media tips for multifamily. Thanks for stopping in. This blog is taken from a talk I gave at the lovely Carabella in Warner Center. As a social media agency that specializes in multifamily, we work a lot on reputation management. The reputation of your property on places like Yelp and apartment ratings is imperative to you leasing up your buildings. So let's jump right into my talk called Get Them Off My Back. First of all, you got to claim and monitor all your listings. A lot of these review sites, of course, Yelp we're all familiar with, but here's a list that you're going to want to take note of. This is who we monitor. A lot of these are created from mobile phones when people visit your site. I could check in on Foursquare right now at Carabella if Carabella didn't have a Foursquare account, which it does, by the way. I don't know, Bernard, if you knew that. I'm sure you probably do. I could check in on Foursquare right now at Carabella and create a page for Carabella without Carabella's permission, without them knowing about it. Yes, completely okay and completely legal. This is going to be a lot of back and forth. I'm already liking this. This is good. She's like, shut up. Yes, it's true. I can go on Yelp and I can write a review of Carabella saying whatever I want, make it all up, create the account. But you, as a business, can fight back. You can claim these listings. You can claim. You pay Foursquare $10. You give Yelp a copy of your electric bill. Remember I asked you guys for that right away. Apartment ratings, apartment reviews, you guys know that process. Google Places, this is interesting, is now Google+. So you guys are all going to want to read about that. Google+. Because Google+, their social network, has now merged with Google Places, which is the listing side of Google. So when you search for a property and you get the map return on the top right of your search, that's Google Places. Well, now that's merged with Google+. So you can claim the listing. And it's important to claim it because then you can add photos, you can add links to other social networks, you can, check the contact information, make sure it's correct. You can have a, across the board universal social media presence where everything is branded Carabella all the way across the board, okay? And everything makes sense. Everything tells the Carabella story that you're trying to tell. That's really important. People don't, when they think of reputation, they go, well, how do I fight against? Well, the obvious first step is to get involved, claim your listings. Number two, whether or not to respond. Yes. There are times, and we've discussed this, when it's not appropriate to respond. And I'll tell you why. Crazy people. That's why. There are crazy people out there. We all know that the internet has become a bitch board, right? It has. You misplace somebody's package, you put it in the wrong cubby, and the person, it takes a day to get to the person. They go on Yelp, and they lose all my packages, and they burned up. They burned my package. They had a fire in the courtyard and they threw my package in there. So everybody knows that there are crazy people that go online, make things up and bitch about you, right? Well, those are the people that you kind of want to avoid. Because if you engage with them, it's going to start a huge war, what we call a flaming war, which I'll go over that in a second. So if there's crazy talk, if there's a lot of caps, I call them cuckoo caps, if there's numerous posts from the same person, don't respond. But unless it's on Yelp. If it's on Yelp, you've got to respond. You've got to respond to everything on Yelp. The reason is Yelp is 60 million visitors, unique visitors a month. So not just page clicks, not just hits, actual people going to their site, 60 million a month. I have a friend that works there. We talked on the phone about a month and a half ago. 4 million views on Yelp are from LA alone. It's 9,000, and this was a month and a half ago, so it's probably over 10 now. 9,000 searches happen a month on Yelp for apartments. I don't know if you guys knew that. So that's important. So you always have to respond to Yelp. If you have a listing on Yelp, as Valerie knows, because when we started up, we compiled all of their reviews, and we've been systematically going through and responding to every single one on Yelp. So, if you have a listing on Yelp, it'll come up in your top 10 search results almost every time. And that real estate on the internet, those top 10 search results on Google, that is everything. 90-some% of people never make it to the second page. They only go to those top 10 search results. So knowing what your top 10 search results are, controlling your top 10 search results, that is priority number one when it comes to online reputation. So understand dynamic content is point number two. Anybody here know what dynamic content is, other than the court people who've heard this before? Dynamic content is a website like a blog or Facebook or Yelp, where when I enter something in a comment box, it shows up immediately. Okay? Now the website has changed, and I, the user, am responsible for changing it. Okay? This website has dynamic content, meaning it's always changing. Sites with dynamic content rank higher to Google than sites that are static. because Google sees them as sites that are alive. Hey, this is a blog. It got 15 comments on that blog in the course of 3 or 4 days. This is an alive, active site. I'm going to give it more points, therefore ranking it higher in the searches versus a site that just sits there. Okay? Some of your websites, I always pick on the host, so there you go. Sorry, Bernard. But I'm not picking on your website. Your website looks beautiful, but it is a static website. You know, there's a link to, I believe there was a link to a blog, but the blog is not integrated with the site, so it stays pretty much the same. It's like a brochure, which is fine, but when it comes to assessing whether or not to respond to a review, you've got to think. If I respond to this review on this website, it's going to trigger Google and say to Google, this website is worth more points now than somebody else. And it may take that website and put it in my top 10 search results, as what is happening with apartment reviews. There's been a few reviews that we've had at, actually not Triana, but other clients, where we've said, don't respond. First of all, it's a crazy person, but second of all, your listing shows up on the second page of your Google search results. If we respond, it'll activate that apartment ratings listing and then move it to the front page, because it'll say now, hey, there's people interacting with this site, it's worth more. So before you respond, you first claim your listings. Second, you assess whether or not to respond, okay? It's an important step. And then now let's say we've decided to respond. So what do we do? Okay, let's take this apart. How do we respond appropriately? Timing is everything. If something goes up online, you've got to be on it within 48 hours, especially if it's on a place like Yelp, especially if it shows up in your top 10 search results. That's 48 hours that people are going to see a brand new, fresh review that's dated yesterday that has some crazy person saying you burnt my package in the elevator or who knows what, and you're not going to have a response to it, so they're going to believe it. Okay, so it's important that you respond. Yep, timing is everything. It's important to jump on those reviews. And if you don't have time to write your full response, that's fine. Stop in and leave a quick comment saying, hi, I'm such and such, leave your name of course. I saw your review, we care. We're going to give you our full response in a week when we have more time to go through your review thoroughly. That tells all future residents that stop in that you really care about the reputation of your property. Imagine if there was nothing there and they stopped in to see this negative review. All they're left with is the negative review. Let's go back to the show. Always give contact information. Poor Valerie. I'm always giving out her phone number for her and her name. Everybody call Valerie, call Valerie, call Valerie. Valerie is the property manager. Valerie is a good property manager in that she's accessible to her residents. She says, if you've got a problem, come talk to me. I want to solve it. She's a positive problem solver. I like that about her. So she's willing to give her contact information in the responses right up at top. So the top of the review is, thank you, always. Thank you for reviewing us. Number 2, I'm Valerie, or I'm the social media guy responding for Valerie. Here's Valerie's contact information. You can always go directly to Valerie. Here's her number, here's her email address. If there's any concerns, please call Valerie. Okay, we want you to have direct access to us. Now, that's not just to give Valerie a headache. That's to show future residents that Valerie's accessible. And that's all we care about, right? Everybody knows that no building is perfect. There's always going to be a problem. But when I have access to the manager who can solve my problem when I'm upset, now I'm happy. Now I'm cool. So I'm going, all right, when that obnoxious guy next door has a party at 2 a.m., I can call Valerie or talk to Valerie the next day. She'll fix it. I have access to Valerie. That says a lot to future residents. That's going to build up your online reputation and make future residents want to live with you. Also, address false claims, okay? We don't go through each review and go, no, I'm not an idiot. No, pink looks good on me. I don't know what you're talking about. We don't respond to every crazy thing they say. What we do is we take apart the review and we only respond to what's false. If they say that we burnt the package out in the courtyard, we say we did not burn your package. We address false claims because that's our right, okay? The internet has opened up a stream of communication between consumers and brands, okay? Brands in the past were all, the consumer is right, the consumer is right. I don't believe that anymore. That's bunk. Because consumers now have access to a 60 million people website like Yelp to go on there and tell me as a brand that I'm blowing it, and then they expect me not to respond. I don't agree with that anymore. You took the first step. You publicly accused me of something. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you or set the record straight in a very respectful, professional way. I'm going to say that, no, we did not lose your package. We do have security cameras. Yes, we have had 2 break-ins in the last month, both of which were resolved. We now have a secure parking, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the issue is, we address the false claim, okay? In Valerie's case, they had some noisy people 6 months ago. They came in, they cleaned house, they took care of it. And so some of the old reviews are about noise. And now we're saying publicly, we addressed that. We have a new policy. We got rid of a lot of the problem residents in the past, and we have a very strict noise policy now. Now we've addressed the false claim. Okay, that's important. And be sincere. Always be sincere. This is social networks, okay? I always say this is a jeans and t-shirt place. This is not a suit and tie place, okay? I didn't wear a tie to remind myself that, hey, I'm a social guy. I'm a social network guy, all right? I have to be a person, okay? Again, people have access to brands now, and people have to realize that brands are people. You guys have a team. You work hard to make your buildings great. You care, right? You're real people. So when people say that you're doing a crap job, you feel bad, okay? And people need to know that. So when you're sincere, hi, my name is Valerie. Here's my contact information. I'm so disappointed that you're upset. We try really hard to make an amazing place for you to live. Yes, we screwed up here, and we are so sorry. No, that's not true. We do have security cameras, and we haven't had a break-in in the last 3 months. And, you know, but now it's a person-to-person conversation. That right there, 9 times out of 10, will knock off the back and forth. The person will either apologize or you won't see him post again. Because now it's like, ooh, there's an actual person that I've offended. That doesn't feel so good anymore. It's not just I'm screaming out to the world and nobody's listening. Somebody's listening, and they took the time to read my review and respond. Okay, that says something. So that's it. See, it's not so hard. It's pretty simple. Claim those reviews, decide whether or not to respond, and then when you respond, remember it's a person-to-person conversation. Use your name, give your direct contact information, and talk to them like a person, not like a press release or a piece of sales material or a corporation. That's only going to make them more angry. All right? Your reputation matters. Places like Foursquare, Yelp, ApartmentRatings.com. These places are visited all the time by future residents. So you want to make sure that the message they get about your property, you are in control of. I'm Joshua Swanson again with Go to My Apartment. Please feel free to tweet us, like us, comment, all those fun things. We love to see those social interactions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you online.